Afternoon everybody, happy Easter. So yeah, Easter update up on the allotment in the UK. So as it's Easter, it's always been a family tradition that Good Friday is when we put in our potatoes. So in this one, that's what we're going to do, as well as planting some carrot seeds and the start of the wildflower garden as well. Also, if you're not subscribed, you're going to make sure you're going to want to, because the seating area that I've just planned out is going to end up looking amazing, and yeah, it's going to feel like you're sitting in a back garden even when you're up the allotment. So you definitely are not going to want to miss that. So on that, let's get into this week's video. Welcome into this week's video. So yeah, happy Easter everybody. Excuse the mess over there, I've still got to break down those cardboard boxes to move down as an undercover for some more wood chip to finish off the last of the path that we've got to do, and also cover up any areas where grass has come through. So try and suppress the grass roots as much as we can. It is couch grass, so it's constantly coming through. But on couch grass, what you can do is, like, if you put it in your beds, is same with bindweed, burn it, and then you can use that ash to put onto your compost bin, just so it adds an extra layer, like putting cardboard down on top. Obviously it doesn't take as long to rot because it's already basically dust. So on that, as it is Easter, I'm sure we're going to see lots of it today, but potatoes. So these ones are the earliest. I've only got 6, we've got more down the house if we've got any left over, but we're only doing 2 small rows, as we will see later on in the video. So these ones are the Charlottes, and then for my mains this year, we've gone with the Maris Pipers, or Maris Peers, as some may call them. And then other things for today, we're going to get the carrot seeds in the ground. So these ones have got apparently 2,000 seeds in, and these ones just going to be the normal Nance 5. So we're going to give these a go this year. Now carrots, I don't normally tend to have much success with, for some reason. I don't know why, but this year I've got a good feeling that with all the ground prep that I've done throughout winter, I think I only took December off. So yeah, it's been a busy month. Obviously I could have got a lot more videos out during the winter period, but with the weather and everything, it was just too bad to film. So that's our first option. Now our second one has come from the Primo seeds pack that we've got from Amazon. So these ones again are also Nance. So we're going to have double the variety of Nance this year. So we're going to also probably do the beetroot seeds as well, and obviously they are a cluster. So even though you're putting in one seed, inside that's got multiple. You can do it in rule of 3s, so 3, 5s, 7s, if you want them clustered and spread them out, if you're going to thin them. So that is also an option. But you'll see when we come to planting the carrots that I've left along the back edge, I've left quite a sizable gap. Now the reason for that is because I grow the runner beans behind them onto the wire. So the idea is, as the beans come up, it will stop any wind damage in the crops. So that is the theory on that one. And then also we're going to try, if we've got enough time, to sow directly into the ground our easy grow collection of flowers for the wild garden. So in this one we've got candy tufts, normal red poppies, a mixture of cornflowers, some purple morning glories, and some nigella. There is already some mixed nigella in the bed, so that's going to be interesting. And obviously we've got sunflowers as well, but I've taken those out and they are in a pot at home. So that's for that one. And then the next lot, which obviously some of these we have already got at home growing. So we've got stocks, foxgloves, the English lavender. We want to try and get that in on the lavender bed separate. And then agatash, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, as well as the inchnops. Now I know for a fact that's wrong. But then also we've got some forget-me-nots, as well as the Elysiums that we planted beginning of January or middle of January. They're coming up, they're starting to flower already in here. So they are well established. The cover's been off the propagator. Obviously, as you can see, we do have the mesh at the end as well as the front. So at night time they have been hardening off. So it is a poly, but also I could use it as pretty much a cold frame because of the front and rear being open. So if you do hear wind blowing in here, it is because of that drawing the air through it. Also stops the plants from getting too rotten as well. So yeah, that is the selection there going into the bee and butterfly wild garden. So that's going to be a good thing. Now you would have seen at the beginning of the video I was talking about, with quite a lot of passion, the seating area. So what's going to happen is we are building a 7-foot wide bed, then coming this way 6 foot and creating a L shape. Now they're only going to be made out of 6-inch gravel boards for now, but then come autumn, as long as the pennies account for it, we're going to go out. I'm going to go out and get another load of 6-inch gravel boards, so that come next year it will actually be a foot high bed. So with that, the back wall is going to be caned up, and that's where we're going to grow some extra sweet peas, because we do have, I think, 4 packets worth. Obviously 2 packets are already in further down the bed in their separate boxes, as you've seen, so they're over here, but we're going to do a row along the back of the wall of the seating area, so that they'll grow up and create a lot, basically create shade behind it from where the bench is, so that during the summertime when I'm up here sitting down, just taking that well-earned break that as all gardeners we should do, just to enjoy it as well, because it's not always go with the plots. Sometimes especially in the summertime, we just need to sit back, get a drink and just relax and rehydrate. So being able to do so with nice scenery around you will be a plus. So down the width side, that's going to have a lot of shade loving plants, because we do have an acorn tree that's growing up down the side. And then on the front side, where I'll be creating the walkway entrance into the seating area, we're going to get some wooden edging, and we're going to create like almost like a river effect, kidney shape, I guess you could call it, where it will come in from pathway round and then join up to the width bed, and then also on the other side where the sweet peas will be, we'll be creating a curve there as well, and then getting some reclaimed paving slabs and just staggering some of those out to the bench area, and then we're going to wood chip the rest of that just so that it makes it all nice and tidy. Now the whole premise of that is having it like if you want to think of it as a cottage garden, something like that, but also to show what you can do with a small area of land. Like that square patch is only 7 foot by 6 foot. Like that's the size of the footprint. So even like a small patio style or something like that, you can create something a lot more appealing to the eye. So even if you've got a small garden or a small area, it'll then show little tips on what you can do to make the most out of the area. As you can see in here, for example, we are going a lot more in depth and trying to make the most of it. So obviously now we've got the seating area made, we've got the archway behind me which is going to be growing the cucumbers. So it's going to be cucumber up this side, and it's going to be a plum tomato growing up that side. And the idea is they'll grow up over the herb bed, as well as then coming up this side as well with multiple. So we'll get 1, 2, 3 plums, a couple of money makers, and then this side we'll probably put one more money maker over in that corner because we have the space to grow one, and then stagger out whatever else we can down to the cucumber down there. So it's going to be packed in here, as well as now we've got the hanging baskets as well for the tumbling tomatoes or the strawberries that aren't doing too great, but I think because we've lifted them out of pots, I think it's just been too much of a shock from them being outside during the winter hardening to then coming in here. So if we have to redo those, we will have to redo those. It's not an issue, it will be what it will be. So yeah, but on that, let's flip out into the allotment, and we'll start off with doing the carrots because obviously I've already done the 2 trenches for those. So we'll get set up and we will see you over there very soon. So yeah, as I say, it is windy out here, but we're just going to do the primo ones first on this side, and then we'll do the other ones on the other side, even though they are the same variety, just to see which company does a better turnout. So it's a bit of a scientific thing. Obviously I need to get the microphone working because with this wind it would help very much so, but we'll get there. As you can see, the seeds are very small. Obviously I've got to cup them because of the wind. Out to the board. our first lot in. And then we'll just get the hoe, just gently brush over loose stuff that we took out over the top. Obviously these are pre-watered to help them germinate. Just give them their best chance. Okay, that's one lot in. We'll be right back. Let's go and grab the other packet. We'll be right back.
Morning dew on the cabbage leaves. Sun comes up slow, moving through the trees. Hands in the soil, no rush today. Just seeds and time drifting away. We're the average growers, taking it slow. Planting our dreams in tidy rows. Fruits and veg where the soft wind goes. Watching little green tomorrows grow. No need to hurry, no need to prove. Just the fresh air and something new.
So yeah, these are the seed packets that I like to deal with, are the ones where they don't get light in them. But I can already tell these have got more seeds in here than what you get from the Primo. A lot more in there. So yeah, we'll definitely be having to do some thinning out. Back on the board. So with that, we've probably only put 1,000 in. Just because in case it doesn't work out, we've got backup. Moving any lumps. Then we're going to get some canes to mark the area. let me just move you a bit closer. There we go. So yeah, what do we mean by a cluster? Oh, where's my hand? That's my hand. Yeah. Cluster seeds. There's multiple seeds inside one section. And then same again, we'll just drop a few in each area. Don't want to spread them out too much. Same again, we just lightly gently cover them like that. This one's going to rain soon, so we won't need to water those ones. I think we've almost got the bed full already, just in Easter. Then we go and get another cane, just to mark it. Move the board. You can already tell it's a high ground. Wind's picking up, so let's quickly get back in the polytunnel. See you soon. First lot of the job's done. Carrots are in, beetroot's in. So that's already taken up almost half of that bed. So it's 2 rows of carrots, 1 row of beets. There is a gap in between the 2 timbers for the pergola. So what I might do is just get the old trusty trowel and just do a thin line in between there, maybe even 2. See how close we get to the carrots. I don't want to go too close to the carrots, but we'll see whether we can get at least 1 row of the radishes in there as well, so that we can maximize the growth, that yield, growing time, space that we have. Obviously that is just one bed. Obviously we've got the main bed, which the idea for that this year is going to be broad beans, collies, broccolis, spinaches. Probably going to go with like a Nero this year instead of the normal light green. We're going to go with the Nero, so it's more of a darker foliage, just so it gives a contrast in the bed, as well as seeing what the different taste is. Because looking at other videos and other channels, there seemed to be an overall agreement that Nero is the better variety, so we'll be giving that a go this year. So on that, also before we do it, I can see them out the corner of my eye through the polytunnel. The onions and garlic are growing really well. I think we're going to have an issue with allium leaf mold this year, because some of the leaves are starting to go a little bit yellow already, but we're just going to cut them off for now and just keep an eye on it, because for some reason we do get a lot of the allium leaf binder in here. So if you've got any comments down below on how you can tackle the allium leaf miner, because yeah, I've been dealing with it for some time. Personally, I thought that bed would be okay because it's had a good mulch, it's had a good dressing, it's been de-weeded heavily, there was no signs of white mold or fungus spore or anything like that in the soil when we took out the old strawberries. So they were working fine. So if I have to get some horticultural lime at the end of the year and just give it a fine dusting of that and then work it into the soil, if that needs to be done, it will be done, because yeah, we can't be having that with the onions, the garlics, as well as the leeks as well. The leeks didn't do much this year though, so we don't know if we'll get around to doing it. We have planted at home some Dill's Atlantic giant pumpkins, so it's going to be interesting to see on the channel on how they grow, considering if you Google the size that the Atlantic giants can grow to. Some of them, they are show winners. Some of them, they have to put the pumpkin onto a pallet so that they can lift it up afterwards. It takes about 6 people, but you can do it. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting time, that is for sure. But let's get these trenches done. But before we do, as I mentioned earlier, we have to make sure we always take little drink breaks, keep our energy up. So rehydration time. See, what I tend to do with these bottles when I'm done, I'll store them to the side till I've got like 5 or 6, and then when it comes to doing my like the brassicas and things like that, and I put the canes in where I mark them like I just did, I'll put one of these bottles on top, pretty much just so that when the wind blows, it rocks the bottles against the cane, which then in turn, if there's any birds coming in the area, just knocks them, just scares them. But what you can also do is stick a couple of loose stones in the bottom as well, so that when it's upside down and the wind's blowing, as you can tell, it becomes like a little rattler. So then it shakes it, and then the premise of it is to deter the birds off of the brassicas. So that is what we tend to do sometimes. So if you see randomly the bottles popping up here and there over the year, then you'll know why. It's because we're putting them up as little bird scarers, which do work. Obviously you can net them, things like that, to stop the butterflies. But with doing the wild garden, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that all the butterflies and things like that are going to be more interested in over there, which will be furthest away from where the brassicas are going to be planted. Obviously it's going to have the dahlias behind it, so the bees, they're going to go there somewhat, but premise having the predominant flowers over here where they're known to enjoy them more, it's going to be an interesting test just to see which ones they prefer. So a lot going on, so yeah, it's going to be a good year. But as I say, it's one of those things, this time of the year, I hate to ask. Everybody hates to ask, but if you are watching this for the first time, please think about hitting that subscribe button and ringing that notification bell, also leaving us a like. It does really help us grow. Just helps the audience, the algorithm, to push out wider to more keen growers that, you never know, something I might do might give a hint and tip to somebody else, which then in turn helps them, because a lot of the other channels, you know, we watch them and we all take little tips from them. Like, I wasn't going to do the baskets this year, but after seeing Ben's allotment, then yeah, I thought, you know what, let's give them a go. Let's maximise the yield in the polytunnel, which is then led on to the archway and so on and so forth. So yep, it's definitely a way to do it. So I touched on it briefly, the dahlias. They're growing really well at home. Now, the end of the year, or even throughout the year, as they're flowering, when the flowers die back, and obviously we're left with the heart of the flower, which is where the seeds are. Now you can do a couple of things with them. You can snip them off and then put them on a paper towel, let them dry out that way. But what I tend to do first is, before I snip them, I'll give the head just a gentle squeeze, and you will see the water that will come out of the head once you've drained quite a bit of it out. And then I'll snip it, and I'm just going to bring them in here or into the shed once we've got the window fitted in there. That we have got the plastic at home to do that, and then I'm just going to put a little, like a little washing line up inside the shed, just with some small clothes pegs, and we'll just peg out as we go, keeping obviously the varieties in sections so that we know which one is which. But on that, let's I would say just get in the radishes, but for now I think we'll go ahead and dig the trenches out, and I'll come back to you once we've dug out the trenches and show you how we're going to plant the potatoes this year. So with that soil, it has been double digged and then rotivated so that we break up as much as we can. It has had 3 dosage of well rotten manure throughout winter, and then obviously one just a couple of weeks ago, and it's been watered. So all that goodness is really being pushed down into the soil below. So when we do the trench, we will go, rule of thumb that I was always told by my great-grandfather is go a spade depth. Some people might say go a spade depth and a half, but I always go a spade depth deep, and then obviously we will then give that a light cover just so it levels off to the ground, and then anything extra we leave to the, I always leave to the left hand side, just so that I know that left hand mound is for that bed on the right, that left hand mound is for that one on the right, and then if it will give us a little trench, like trench worth, down the final edge, which I do not plant in. Reason being for that is if we get a heavy crop forming, meaning it needs to be banked that 3rd time or even 4th time, I can then take it from the farthest right and just spread that over the 2 mounds to then cover them, obviously leaving the top shoot sticking out the top of the raised area, because obviously you don't want to cover the top of the plant each time you bank, because eventually what you'll end up doing is blocking the light from the top, which then in turn is just going to rot your plant out underneath. So I always leave that top head, and then once it comes to the 3rd time, that's usually where I won't bank anymore. We just let them come up, spread out, flower, and then when the leaves go slightly yellow, that's usually a sign that the potatoes are ready to be harvested. So doing these both at the same time, it's not ideal, but the premise being is obviously family members have also got a plot up here, so I put mine in now, and then like a week later they will put theirs in, just so that we've got that little bit of rotation between us. So it helps us just to get a longer yield, so therefore save money over a longer period of time. So, oh, excuse me, it's been a busy day. But on that, let me get these trenches done, and we will be right back to you. I'm hoping the wind dies down and we'll be able to take the tripod outside and show you what I mean by how far down I go. See you all soon. Here, there's our trench line. We've gone down full depth. Which is probably about 16 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the mains in this side, because obviously they're going to take a little bit longer, and then we'll do another trench on the front, which will have our earlies in. So always plant them chitted at the top. And I plant them out about 14 inches, 15 inches apart. Yeah, we have the main crop fitted. Obviously I've still left the V, as you can see there, just because then if it does rain, water will then water in there and give them the best chance to come through. So you'll see that's the planting stage. So the next bank will be level, second bank will be slightly higher, and then the third bank, if I need to, will be higher again. So eventually comes to, each bank will in total come to roughly about the height of your shin, at the top of your shin. That's my desired height. Once I hit that, then I'll just leave them to finish off. But let's get this other bed down. I'll leave you going. The mains. there was just obviously tickled it backwards after, because obviously I was walking in the trench, so I would have been compacting it down. So just using the corner of the spade just to loosen it all back up, just to help with the roots to actually knit and go down at the same time. So let's get these earlies in. So yeah, there we have the potatoes planted. So semi bending down, which at the moment, after all the work we've been doing, is not a great idea. Let me get right back to you in a second.